Here that ADR is literally the second seed, well deserved. A couple of really good players on there, a lot of good showings, but a lot of other really good teams here, including Polar Cortex, that they actually had a tough time against. But now they're against Bust here, which is seed 7, another pretty solid team. But now, yeah, like you said, they're fighting for their life in this liftoff. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see these two teams going at it here. Already starting into the game. Oh, wait, are we in the game right now? Because I am not even in the lobby.
Oh, that's not good. Well, I'll resolve that in just a second.
Yeah,
But
smile.
that is a little unfortunate.
All good. We have semi-technology. All right, here we go. Now I can mostly see the game as we're starting off here on Taiko Temple. No access to tab, which is pretty hilarious, but does not matter either way, as we're going to get one barrier down here for ADRs. They're going to try to work on getting it bad at this bottom lane here. General Tweed trying to keep themselves alive right now and successfully doing so. Wallaby almost finds a kill for themselves with this pendulum swing, doing a little bit of damage to Borg. Dran try to also get a astral projection on them, not going to work out though, but one little flip is going to nag them a barrier as well. Thinking Wallaby Gangs to get their hands on that ball one more time. Jones, we're going to defend here with Dran, but unsuccessfully as Borg fights their way through and gets a nice redirect on that drum and sinks the first goal for Bust.
And those are the types of plays we like to see on Taiko Temple. And Merchant on that Luna, right? Known for the Vice and the Luna. A little bit more for the Vice, but with that Vice, pretty much a permaban against this team is showing that he could do it. But there's a weakness of the Luna, right? Almost gets double barriered as General Tweed pushes up on the bottom side. It is hard to defend on this character, so it's all about Borg and Mystic keeping it on the offense. And so far, they're doing a lot, and that Crater's doing even more.
Yeah, big offense push now that they have two more flips on them. Mystic and Merchant can be moving up here to try to make it happen as they do get both barriers down, but a nice pendulum swing from Wallaby Gangsta is going to even up those barriers right here in the hands of Dran, sending it on up. Ends up kind of missing the wall here, giving Borg a chance to get their hands on the ball, but doesn't do too much about it with just the Oni blade coming out. General Tweed trying to move up and get something to work out here. Flip from Merchant, absolutely. Nice redirect here from Wallaby Gangsta is going to be enough to keep the offense going for ADR as General Tweed is fighting for their life down here against Borg and Mystic. Dran now has a chance to defend the ball with a big Crater coming in here, giving the ball directly over to Merchant. And yeah, kind of like you said before, okay, kind of rolls on in the bottom side. The expanse is not going to be expanding across the board there just enough to get another point for Bust, but it's going to be an interesting way to see Luna play the game, right? She's got so much she can do on offense. You're spending a lot of your cooldowns to really keep the ball forward as much as you can, and if team kind of loses the ball for just a moment, you really got nothing left. You're just tiny little Luna, so we'll be seeing those kinds of points happen when Luna's just walking towards the ball and has nothing left.
Yeah, that's definitely something that will be the case, but the same can also be said about this Atlas character, right? Especially when the barriers are down, it's an open net. It is not easy for this Atlas to cover the entire space here. Dangerous spot now with the Crater coming in. General Tweed still not burning the flip, wants to use it for the offense here, but it is NASL or Bust just on the offense permanently, it feels like. Merchant has not been pressured by both forwards of ADR for quite a while.
Yeah, let's see if they can mount some offense here, though. They do end up getting that barrier. Sends over the Death Touch. Doesn't seem to land it, though. Almost a nice goal from General Tweed at the top side, but they do end up defending it with just a millimeter left. Dran defending the ball here, grading it to General Tweed one more time. Borg is holding the line, though, as the midfield is kind of cut off here. Okay, General Tweed's blob is going to kind of miss right into the blob. They're going to give him a chance to redirect it. Mystic holding the line as well, but not going to blow that flip just yet. Merchant get a nice redirect off that drum to give the offense another chance to get really close to the goal with one of these flips, as we have the sentry come out there, but we have a flip from Dran, which is going to spend that whole resource. A flip for an ult is actually not too bad, as Merchant's going to try to defend one more time here, though. Another flip and into another flip, and now it's a little bit of offense here for Bust. Okay, into the hands of Wallaby Gangsta, though. He's going to see what they can do. Not much energy, though, and General Tweed might not have any cooldowns here. It's just going to be a little bit of a ping pong, but Mystic ends up winning that situation as Merchant has a chance also here to get the ball to Borg one more time, who has it, but a nice strike shot from Dran is going to keep this point alive.
But it's still so dangerous, right? Borg and Mystic. Now Wallaby in the 1v1, but it goes right to Merchant, who manages to defend. These slimes of General Tweez are possibly the biggest threat, but he's not really being given any space to use the slimes for an open shot. And Borg with the primary. No flick required this time to the bottom side. It is a set win, 3-0 for NASL or Bust.
Wonderful work there. Merchant gets a little bit of the credit for that MVP, getting really involved there, just hitting the ball, getting some energy, getting that experience. what's going to make it happen here for Merchant. So let's see what we got on the board. Nothing too explosive. You know, does have specialized training if they really want to go for some eradication there. But going to take Twin Drive, which is a real classic for the eject goalies. We'll be seeing a lot more of a Merchant now with that Twin Drive getting all over the place. Plus, it's a solid deny from Atlas as well. Nothing too great here for Zentaro left, though. You know, none of these dash perks have really showed up, and even if they did, we might have seen a steal here from Juno. So it's going to be kind of lackluster here for the Zentaro. But either way, I think about an average about an average outcome for the side of ADR, even though they end up losing that one.
Yeah, it is looking a little bit dangerous here, I think, especially when you're facing down Merchant, when you're already feeling like kind of the possession fully being on the side of NASL or Bust, right? It kind of felt like the core is always on the left side of the map here, and if that's happening, the Luna goalie is the best pick in the world. Infinite offense, Borg bounced around but still surviving. NASL or Bust, they look so comfortable here.
Yeah, doing a really good job. They can't even get Borg off the map, but they do end up losing both barriers right then and there, and Merchant flies on in with kind of a lot of options. It's such a tough spot when Luna, you know, gets that boost right into your face with the ball. It's like she can stun you, she can hit the ball, she can actually redirect it, hit the ball, get 2 strikes. So it's a really tough spot. You kind of need to cool down when you're kind of squished in the corner there, and it looks like Dren might not have had it, so it's going to be another good point for Bust, as we see Merchant already making a lot of good use from this Twin Drive.
Yeah, this Taiko Temple, popular map nowadays, and it looks like NASL or Bust are very familiar with it. 2 flips available now. General Twee still has 1, almost taken out there by Borg, but survives thanks to the drum. Dangerous spot still for ADR here, especially if Merchant can get out of this corner, and he successfully does with the patience. And this Luna is just not getting pressured here.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough spot here for ADR. They can't seem to mount that kind of pressure that they're looking for. And Juno does have a solid amount of control of the map. I mean, she really does get to place extra Junos sometimes to, like, block balls that are sent into space, but it's not really working out right now, as really Bust does have a lot of the control. And look at that, the ball gets kind of sent into nowhere, but Merchant, no problem with that Twin Drive boost, is going to be able to collect that ball, but they cannot collect this power play, which is actually on the side of ADR. So this is their chance to score. Luna does actually have a cooldown, but smacks their face right into the wall, which is going to pretty much just stop you. You know, you hit the wall with some of these movement abilities, and you just kind of stop. So you're going to have to get the angle right perfectly. You needed a cardinal direction down to get that one in there. But nice score there from ADR, taking good advantage of that power play. And, I mean, that's kind of what we're looking for here. If they can't seem to maintain a lot of ball control, they might have to get a kill or 2.
Yeah, we'll see if they are able to replicate that performance here. I think it's very possible, especially because the Juno has a pretty good time into the Luna. A lot of single hits means that the Slimes will be able to take advantage of the creation aspect, but Merchant isn't isn't having to play against the Juno much. General Twee staying mostly on the defense to try and get the core out of that half. Meanwhile, Wall will be a bit solo on the offense here because Mystic and Borg are pushing up in the corner so effectively, forcing General Twee back. But with Borg gone, this could be the huge turnaround that ADR needs.
I was going to mention that they were doing some pretty good damage to Borg every now and again, but they weren't end up finishing those kills as often as they possibly should. But they do get it now. Power play active here. Luna, not too many cooldowns left, but they do end up surviving that situation until they finally get that barrier as I'm speaking about it. Mystic had flip there, gets killed with it. A lot of value for Wallaby Gangsta's pendulum swing there, as General Twee now has a chance to get the ball on over to the Brawler. Maybe get this ball on in there. Absolutely good pass. Nice getting that ball forward to just, you know, combo with that pendulum swing. Going to stun Merchant out of that one, and there's going to be a point for ADR as it should be, right on that nice power play.
Yeah, very, very well done. We'll see if they can get another here. General Twee, though, interrupted by Borg, but good primaries out by Dran. That's the important part. This Atlas needs to make sure the core doesn't stay too long on his half. It needs to really just play the melee goalie. It needs to walk up to the midline and just to make it so that Merchant is the one feeling the pressure instead. Wallaby desperately trying to get in there. But these glitch pops from Mystic have done so much work in making sure the core is not in the hands, is not in the possession of ADR too often.
Yeah, and we can see what's happening a lot is that Borg and Mystic are putting on a really good offensive push most of the time, and it's usually like one clear method here for Dran that gets covered by Merchant, so that's kind of making it so that Bust just has a lot more offense a lot more of the time, which really just, you know, eventually the pressure gets to you, you just run out of strikes or something, and your barrier is going to go down. I think that's really where Bust is benefiting a lot here, as they have two flips here, one on Merchant, one on Mystic. What's it going to be? Maybe going to flip out of it. Yeah, you know, a little bit of pressure there onto Merchant. They're going to end up spending that flip, but not going to have it for a situation that might be showing up a little bit soon. But here comes the Crater plus the Sentry is going to be just enough to get that goal. Flip from General Twee is not going to do it yet. Mystic with this flip could be moving up here to combo over with Borg. Almost ends up losing the barrier there, but Merchant on that one here also probably has a secondary to come up, but General Twee and Gangsta finally do get that last barrier, as Merchant does have a secondary left to get it through. A flip from Mystic is going to be not good enough to get this ball here, though. Merchant trying to keep it forward as well, but it's going to fly right on back with a nice redirect from Dran, and that's going to be enough pressure to give Wallaby Gangsta the goal, and there you go. ADR grabbing their first set of this game. Let's see. Okay, we got Gangsta getting the first Awakening. Maybe one of their better players to get it.
And this is a very scary draft if you're NASL or Bust, because there's so many good choices here for the Juno. Deadeye also incredibly good on the Rasmus. Those pendulum swings at the very tip. It's just a tip or hitbox now. That Deadeye's going to proc and you will get knocked off the map. Spark of Agility coming through for this Juno, who already has a Spark of Focus. Cooldown reduction is the name of the game, and even though the rapid fire is denied, right, that Juno is still benefiting greatly.
Yeah, it also has a lot more benefit to go. If some really devastating awakenings show up that cannot be denied, it could result in Luna getting another spark there, which would be pretty rough here for ADR. But we'll see what happens there, though. Dran did have to take 1-2 punch, which actually kind of helps clear the ball some of the time, especially in overtime, although they do get kind of locked in there from the expanse, but only using one barrier, which is kind of a godsend there. It was almost a guarantee to lose both, but we're holding it down right now. Nice mix up there from Dran to actually not go for the pass. Kind of mixes Borg a little bit there, and they end up keeping this barrier as well. Borg a little bit low. I mean, like you said, Wallaby Gangsta now has Deadeye. They have a lot of damage that they can actually end up spending onto Borg if they want to go that route. And we'll see if they can actually make it happen. I mean, we know that Zentaro is such a good glass cannon, really, when it comes to a lot of offense, but really killing him is kind of where he is lacking in a lot of the gameplay.
Yeah, Borg could be the target, but we'll have to be focused down efficiently, right? It is a stagger swagger start after all, so... Oh, there's the value. Missed it, caught a little bit too close to the edge. I think it would have killed without Deadeye there, but Borg also incredibly low, and ADR showing their damage potential here as Merchant forced to burn the flip. Dangerous spot, but he gets out of it. Barrier still alive, and the power play ends.
Definitely ends here. Still one barrier for each team right now. The ball's going a little bit fast here as overtime. Nice block there for Merchants. Going to keep that barrier alive. A strike shot to also maintain a little bit of control for their team, but the ball kind of flying all over the place. Misses the Astral Protection. Trying to get the ball in the hands of Wallaby Gangsta, but here comes the Crater Maker to make things a little bit awkward for them. Still a barrier on each side. General Twee can't get their hands on the ball because Merchants just got this twin drive. Just knock it out of your hands and just get all over the map when they need to. Sends over the rocket, but Gangsta actually ends up getting it with that really fast red ball on that pendulum swing. It's going to be really nice. We can see that Dran also gets that red ball in overtime with the strike, but a power play now for ADR could be exactly what they need as they finally end up taking out Borg, which was pretty much going to be their win condition now.
Oh, what a perfect redirect by General Twee. Not even fully redirecting, just a re-angle into the bottom corner, not bouncing off the edge of the goal either, out of the hands of Merchant, who was just about to build up flip as well. The perfect timing for a shot like that, the perfect goal, and two flips coming up for both sides here. Energy staying stable, and your team at a point lead is always the spot you want to be in.
Definitely true there. I will want to reiterate, that was definitely like the perfect angle from Twee. Really great work there. Like basically nothing else scores it. But nonetheless, they're going to start on to this point here. They're doing a lot of damage to Borg. Dran being really aggressive now, even though his team is also taking the points as well. Both barriers already down for Bust. A lot of control, but not a ton of energy for the side of blue here. Let's see if Mystic can get on in there. I don't think they're going to want to flip for this second barrier, though. But General Twee ends up not really landing that blob jump there. Gonna grab the ball just yet. Mystic ends up spending that flip there, probably trying to get either a hands on the ball or a kill onto Twee, but neither of those is actually going to end up happening here as Borg is completely blocked by the Expanse. Both Atlas cooldowns are spent there, but the aggression is going to keep it up. for ADR right now, and Atlas is going to get his cooldowns back, and they're going to get a point here. Really great work from ADR, taking a lot of advantage of that situation, and really one more point away from grabbing another whole Awakening draft.
And very, very close to taking the lead here. And a lot of that is General Twee, right? When General Twee is allowed to be active, allowed to play on the other side of the map, this Juno is struggling, and Wallaby with the Deadeye primary. So aggressive now, and this team is benefiting from it, especially as Borg takes a ton of damage, has to retreat, still has to flip, but the barriers fall, the flip is burned, and a huge advantage now for ADR.
Yeah, gargantuan advantage. We saw Luna right there with basically no cooldown. She couldn't really do anything except walk around, and now it's a tough spot here for Bust. Borg is also looking quite low right there. Merchant has their hands on the ball, finally gets a flip there by sending the rocket on forward while getting a blast with another pendulum swing. Easy goal here possibly, but nice defense there from Mystic. Get the glitch pop to save the ball. Double goalie here can almost work out, but man, the pressure that General Twee puts on, and that primary is also possibly going to secure it perfectly as ADR grabs their next set in this series here, and we actually have General Twee is going to be the one to grab the Awakenings. What are we going to see? I mean, there's, again, a lot of really good stuff here. Fight or Flight, insane for forward. Super Surge, just good and a great deny. Ton of size, literally a ton of size. Stacks, I mean, the world is your oyster if you're Twee.
Yeah, and Twee will pick up the stacks on stacks. His favorite Awakening since the beta of Omega Strikers, back when he was a goalie and he was picking that on Luna when everyone else was taking eject and I was taking build different like a fool. But that Orb Replicator take is super duper interesting from Merchant. Orb Replicator is not an Awakening that is seen as strong or even like fine. It is seen as a horrible Awakening. I'm not sure if that is the play here, but we will see.
Yeah, it's really difficult to place that Awakening, right? Like it doesn't even heal your team for like a lot of health when you're just like, oh, my team is dying, let me go get the orb for them. Like, it probably should, in my opinion. They should probably rework it somehow, but either way. Sorry, talking about the point. Nice one there, getting those barriers and getting that point there, Wallaby Gangsta. At least it does give you, your team, I don't know, 10 energy per thing, because it's like 110. So, I mean, maybe, you know, to get some energy. I mean, look at their team. Has a bunch of energy right now, even though they did kind of sort of lose that point. But working on the next one, incoming Crater. General Twee nicely dodging that one and keep the bottom barrier alive as well as they're just fighting for their life. Up to Duran, kind of snags the barrier there, unfortunately. Merchant trying to go in as well. 3 flips already on the side of Bust as Wallaby Gangsta actually wins that situation against the flip, which is pretty damn huge. Borg's going to go for a big, straightforward flip and actually lands it right as the gates open. Really just like the perfect situation there for Bust, for Borg, to really make that one happen. So nice work trying to keep themselves in the game here. Bust.
Yeah, that is what they need, but I'm not sure if they can replicate that. Again, Wallaby is so powerful here, and the last draft, looking at it is so scary, right? Because look at the Awakenings that were acquired by the side of ADR. Stacks on stacks, Fight or Flight. That is, what? Like those Awakenings are crazy. Wallaby and Twee are so much faster now, and Mystic and Borg are really going to have to put in overtime to keep up.
Yeah, it's unfortunately Duran got a little bit of the short stick there with the Super Surge. I'm not even sure that it like buffs the secondary. I think it only buffs like dashes, right? So not so great, but a really good deny to make sure that the Zentaro is at least in check a little bit as they're going to continue to work on this point. A flip here from Duran might show up exactly. Yep, gonna beat Merchant in that situation as they do spend the strike, but no problem, ejecting right on back. 1 barrier down for each player. One down. There goes the last one here for ADR. Merchant helps it out with that Crater Maker and also has flip. Mystic has flip. Borg almost has flip. Maybe this Orb Replicator is actually giving people a lot of energy because this team is having a ton of flip right here. Lots of energy. Here goes one. Spent it on, but Wallaby Gangsta wins the situation, but Mystic sniffs that one out and ends up keeping that barrier alive. The godsend here for Merchant, who solos with the boost and a strike. Nice one there from Merchant. Just wins that one out. And Bust almost on the board here to tie this set up.
Really, really well done on the play. Merchant delaying the strike there was crucial as well because a lot of eject Lunas, they'll just mash strike as they dash, but Merchant knows the timing, knows the interaction, knows that General Twee knows the situation somewhat, and it just delays it enough, plays the situation slowly enough, and Borg is getting in there. The energy stays high. These flips are going to be really impactful here if Borg and Mystic can use them after the barrier take.
Absolutely. Could even use one to grab the barrier. Yeah, Borg strikes everyone with that and gets the barrier as well. Ton of value, lots of extra damage. One barrier down here for Merchant. Mystic gets into position to get that flip and certainly clear that ball. Everyone's got to get down here, though, but Borg holds the line. Gets it with the passive dashing strike thing. Actually crazy good. Bust evens this one up, and boy, did they need that. Who's it going to be? Merchant, again, just all over the board, getting all of that experience. And now, what are we going to get?
Well, that spark is a little bit scary. They're probably going to deny that spark. Either that, yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
That would have been 3 spark Juno with cooldown spark, and that is way too much impact. Reverberation is going to be a fine pickup anyway, but that is not 3 spark Juno. On the other hand, Wallaby Gangsta continues to be scary. That primary is being supercharged right now, but yeah, this draft, pretty good for the side of NASL or Bust with that extra special Fireball Sentry. The one thing that makes it a little unfortunate, though, is that Borg wanted dash range. Heavy Impact shows up. Wallaby is supercharged. That Centauro doesn't have heavy impact. And in the grand scheme of things, it's a tough draft.
Yeah, definitely a tough draft when the opponents are going to win that, though. Borg again flying right off the map, and another kill here for Wallaby Gangsta, who has super juiced that primary, as you have mentioned. I mean, Deadeye heavy impact with just heavy impact. It's like kind of a deadly threat here as one of the power plays ends, but stuns. Yeah, nice primary smack Merchant right in the face of that blob, and the ball's going to roll on in there. ADR looking pretty good right here. I mean, boy, if they can get those kills. I didn't actually exactly see how Centauro died. Was it like dashed into the expanse? He was like kind of off the map. I'm not really sure.
Well, all I know is that Wallaby has all the damage tools he needs. He even has spec training. Like that is a little bit ridiculous for Wallaby here. But Borg's in position. The net is open. Big opportunity here as Dran is forced to burn the flip. One barrier taken on the other side, though, and Wallaby working on a flip of his own. You got to be really careful here. But Merchant with the insta flip from downtown. That's the type of goal that Bust needs.
That was sick. Merchant actually barreling in like a demon, like a literal missile, and gets that one in there. Blasts Sweet out of the way with the flip. Really good timing as well. So nice one there for Merchant. Only spends one of those twin drive things as well. Gonna have another one here. Yeah, spends it to just keep the ball forward as usual. They do end up losing that situation, which is going to cause one barrier. But Luna doesn't have much left here as the team is going to rally and make sure that one stays alive. Oni Blade comes out, but Borg takes a ton of damage in return. Here comes the Crater. Doesn't do all that much. It's a lot of pressure right now. Borg flies on in there. Kind of the savior right here as Mystic just a little not going to be able to defend the ball too well against like point-blank Rasmus. Okay, here comes Luna one more time here with that boost. They're going to have to maybe peel this one out, and they do actually end up peeling it past Wallaby Gangsta. But again, Borg is just looking so weak, just about. Staggered here has the flip, wants to get as much value as they can, but we're going to have to try to find a clear here. No way, Twee is not letting that one get cleared. Dran saves that barrier. That was a little bit close. Oni Blade also coming out here, though. Borg did survive that situation, and now going to spend that flip with the rush, and it's going to get that one. Both barriers down for both team. Now Wallaby Gangsta maybe looking a little bit weak. They could possibly do some damage, but man, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, certainly is a stagger swagger start, so if you do not get those kills, well, they're going to be regenerating perfectly.
Dangerous spot here now as Borg and Merchant fly in, but General Twee with the body block. Mystic still has the flip available. Crazy angles, but Merchant gets it out of there. And Mystic with the self-pass once again. The passive strike, the Aerial's passive strike almost clutched it there, but not quite enough from Borg, who is still continuing to put on the pressure. Mystic with the flip to the other side, and Dran can't get the strike shot in time. Huge point win for NASL or Bust. You need those clutch point wins, and they're one away from taking a lead in the series.
They are indeed. They did spend a bunch of flips there, though, so they're quite low on energy, which does give ADR a minor advantage at the start of this point. Ult here from Juno is going to try to keep the ball forward, but actually does not well enough as Bust just immediately takes both barriers. The ball's already barreling directly at their goal. I mean, Bust is really just trying to end this one here. Merchant giving the ball over here to Mystic one more time. Okay, spends the boost, but doesn't get too much out of it there. Losing a barrier in return. Wallaby trying to get in there as much as they can, trying to win a strike war or two. General Twee on the back end, keeping it in. Okay, Merchant comes in and Nest, yeah, kind of got the kind of forces Dren to use that flip there. It's really just a tough situation when Luna is boosting at you. General Twee tries to reinforce that strike with the primary, but can't seem to maintain control of the ball and get that barrier. Borg, oh, the ball went a little too fast, out of Borg's control. Really tough situation there, as we do have General Twee coming back as a second goalie, which is going to keep this game alive. Mystic maybe trying to get a kill onto General Twee right there with the flip, but to no avail. Merchant, the last one in the game here with the flip. Can they make it happen with this boost? We shall see in just a moment as we set up this firewall sentry. Borg going in, Mystic going in. They don't seem to land this one. The Oni blade, it's a just enough. Borg ends up taking it there and had that dashing strike to also reinforce it. It would have been a really tough clear there from Duran, but at that point, you know, you might just be out of cooldowns, and it's going to be Bust taking that first game. Wow, nice work.
What a stressful game it was. It really could have gone to either team, but in the end, I think NASL or Bust, they just maneuvered the court around the Wallaby very well, right? They made sure that Wallaby couldn't target down a player who was trying to hold the core, couldn't really do the magic that he was doing with that Deadeye heavy impact. And that kind of gameplay from Borg and Mystic, they were just interrupting everything.
Yeah, doing a really good... I mean, you can see the numbers here, too, which is pretty funny. Wallaby Gangsta, 10 kills. Everyone else, 0. I mean, he was smashing. He got really good value out of those Awakenings. But, you know, Bust ends up clutching it out there. You know, maybe really just that aerials on Borg was enough to get them all around the board and just really make it happen. You know, farther teleport from Oni's blade. It's just a tough spot. Almost landed that goal with aerials on the dashing strike. It's a little bit crazy there. But either way, it's going to be Bust taking that one. We're going to move on to the next one. Get me in that lobby. Whoa.
Wait, Cloakoak's still in the lobby.
Cloakoak.
You're going to see him right now.
Hey. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. NASL or Bust now on blue side for AtLab, and that is pretty huge for NASL or Bust, I think, because AtLab, relatively neutral map, picked by ADR, means that NASL or Bust is kind of benefiting quite a bit, no? Like they get blue side, which everyone agrees is stronger, on the neutral map.
Yeah, I would definitely enjoy being the blue side here as you get your first picks. That would be pretty nice here. We'll see what's banned though. I'm really interested to see what they ban now, right? Because like you mentioned a little bit earlier, Merchant's character pool is not... I don't feel like it's too, you know, wide here. I mean, I know them for the Luna so much, but you said we know them a little bit more for the Vice. I feel like I've seen them play Luna so much more, but maybe I'm just not watching the right games. But either way, I mean,
you know what you're watching the Vice get banned.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm watching the Vice get banned, and Merchant might be a demon on that one. But you know, a character pool. I mean, you're not too hard to play around. You know, maybe you just ban one of them, take the other one.
Let's be clear. A goalie having a 2-character pool where the 2 characters are specialized picks means they have an ocean, because if they have 2 interesting characters, Vice, Luna, everyone has a Mako, everyone has a Dubu, everyone has an Atlas. That's 5.
Okay, fine. Everyone has an Atlas. Everyone has a Dubu. Does everyone really have a Mako? Yeah, probably.
Everyone who's like at this level probably has a Mako.
Yeah, probably. That's fair. Yeah, being able to at least play Luna is just huge. I think like Luna is such a I don't know, you just don't think about it as much as like, oh man, just play the character that'll beat Zentaro or something, right? Like just pick Atlas. But like Luna is just this like special force to be reckoned with. I mean, got MVP, was it 3 in a row, or was it, I'm not sure if it was 3 for their wins, but at least two. They were hitting the ball and they were doing crazy. And there you go. Vice banned, Atlas banned, Luna picked. Bust is, I mean, they're back. Merchant's so back.
I looked at the start, and ADR has a bit of an uphill road, because this is extra special Luna on AtLab. They will need to figure out a way to survive, because I think that NASL or Bust already has the tools they need.
They might. I mean, the happiest star Luna in the world. I mean, craters all over the place. Like, and the other awakening is Colossus or whatever. Might have, like, that is not even that great. But we do see, you know, X showing up here. Yeah, X pretty interesting here. Good with Mako. I'll say X is good with Mako though. On the other team, we do have Amy and Zentaro bite breakers.
Wait, are they gonna last pick era here? General Twee is an era picker. It could be X era Mako.
Is that still good against this?
Well, they'll have to survive, but the thing about that is that they also can fight back, and it is Might of the Colossus start. Wait, this era pick is looking pretty
Oh, yeah, right.
likely. Oh, it's a
But
Juno. It's a Juno. Okay, okay.
okay, I can see, I don't know. I feel like it's a little all in to hit the era and then smash Might of the Colossus on the X. Like it might be a little crazy. I don't know. I guess it could work, but we're gonna see the
I kind of
Juno.
wish they
Fair.
committed to it. It is Might start, right? It could have been. It could have been like the one era angle of all time.
It just feels too all in for some reason. Like there's something about it that feels like, man, if X doesn't actually just kill everyone, then you don't have extra special on X to just win thousands of strike wars. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's worth it, but either way, we got the Juno. They've decided against such a thing, but there's just a lot of damage on this board. I mean, Amy and Zentaro do enough damage by themselves, but Luna with extra special, I mean, yikes, literal yikes. And the opposing team, I mean, X does a pretty good amount of damage. Juno can do a pretty good amount of damage, but Mako isn't really super damaged. So I think they are definitely going to be running around with their heads cut off and just, holding onto that wall, trying not to get blasted off the board as this crater is going to come on in there. Especially, I mean, not even to mention like Amy with Firewall Sentries, just with the extra special. I mean, that itself is just sometimes too much to deal with. I mean, we look at that Wallaby Gangsta, 100% Van Brace coming out. Like, no shot, he's trying to die. And that just sacrifices so much of, like, the ball control that they have. No slicks on that board. So, we will see what happens. It looks like Bust is going to be blasting.
Yeah, take a look at the picks for Borg and Mystic, right? Zentaro and Aimi, that's comfort. Those are the characters that they made their names on, pretty much. And that is concerning. You do not want to be facing a team that is comfortable on qualification point.
I mean, not only are they comfortable, but they're warm as crap. They just played this whole team. All three of them just played this team, so they are ready to go. And boom, there you go. First kill already. Bust. Feeling really good about that one. Gonna try to land this one in here. Wallaby Gangsta blows his own face off right there. See if they can get it here with that crater. And, I mean, that's exactly what you're gonna be expecting, bro. It's like craters coming out to just not even like win strike wars, but threaten your literal life. And I mean, Merchant's gonna defend his barrier against it, so it's like really just have to have those evades up or something to get out of there, because they're gonna come every actually I don't know what the cooldown is, but probably like 25 seconds.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing it continue here. These extra special warriors, Wallaby getting a KO there. Might of the Colossus, extra power, looking a little good here, but the issue really is in that crater and the Firewall Sentry. And those two cooldowns are everything for this NASL or Bust team. The Borg with the flip in the open net. It is early in the game, and NASL or Bust is doing what needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even Borg with extra special, I mean, that just gives you, like, another movement skill all the time. Stop the ball, hit the people. I mean, it's so good. Like, either way, I mean, here comes a barrier, though. Actually gonna let the boys angle there. Not gonna land that barrier. Okay, Merchant also kind of gets one, but okay, we do get the last one there as the crater comes out to just get evaded, but it does spend a bunch of energy and some time for the enemy team as they're gonna knock it on over to the bottom side here. Everyone misses the ball. It's really just hugging the edge of the world. Mystic spending the cooldown to get away from Wallaby, but ends up getting bull rushed either way. Flip here from Merchant, trying to get it on through, but it's going to be nearly impossible, but they almost get it out with that rocket with the help of Borg too. But now Borg is looking really low here. A nice wake there from Wallaby Yanks. Is going to secure that one. Okay, a questionable angle actually ends up making Merchant second guess themselves for just a moment, possibly not wanting to get KO'd, but ball does end up rolling in. ADR does get a kill, and they do get the point for it. So we'll see if they can sort of keep that up. Again, it's kind of on Wallaby to really find those kills, but it's still going to be tough.
Yeah, it is, and especially if Wallaby has no evade, right? That is a very scary spot to be in. Damage can be pumped right now, and Mystic and Merchant are waiting. The rocket's landing, the crater coming up sometime in the future, and the Wallaby still has not built up an evade, unfortunately. Now trying to do so. But again, it is such a risk. Borg, however, Zentaro, right, low stagger. That is the one thing that Zentaro can't do, is tank a bunch of hits, and we're seeing that right now, but the cooldowns just aren't there. Wow, what a combo onto Wallaby as well, and it is so dangerous as two flips are missed simultaneously from different teams. I haven't seen that.
I think Borg was in threat of dying there, and I think he used it defensively. But either way, that is going to spend a whole resource for the side of Bust. A flip here from Merchant's going to stop the ball, send it on over down to Borg. He's going to try to help play second goalie for just a moment as they wait for this power play to end. Dren gets nicely in front. Okay, not a flip, but actually it's going to be an overtime here. Bell ringer there from Wallaby is going to make things a little bit awkward. A nice rocket there is going to keep the strike advantage, but yeah, the ball's moving a little bit fast here and with General Twee to hand the ball right on over to Wallaby. It's actually going to even this one up, even though Bust was, they started hard. They started with exactly what we thought they would. Tons of damage, lots of kills. But, ADR is actually finding their path right now.
Yeah, it's pretty huge that the core speed from the Colossus X Maximus was there, because Merchant was in a pretty chill spot. Got the rocket to bait out the strike. A very, very important part of Luna defensively, but he's gonna have to play some more defense here because both barriers just went down, and that's the downside of Luna versus the Mako. A lot harder to defend here, and Dran is still healthy despite the crater coming through. Big opportunity for ADR taking an early set here, and they have so much scaling potential in the core control and the survivability department.
Yeah, they do. Honestly, like I mentioned a moment ago, I feel like Buster was doing so well right in the beginning. They weren't even really letting X play a whole lot, and he was kind of back down on experience, which is pretty much where you want to do. But now, Wallaby Gangsta's got a lot of time to play. Blast the flip, gets a kill, secures the goal, and that probably puts X at number 1, which is a damn catastrophe. If you are Bust, all you try to do is stop X from playing, but now he is playing. Here we go. First pick here is going to be Wallaby Gangsta. What's he getting? Yeah, he's getting something.
He's definitely getting something. Could opt for size here, could opt for stacks, could opt for that speed. We will see what he ends up choosing here, but Merchant's eyes are, as always, on that twin drive. A lot more mobility here. Heavy impact falling down to the Zentaro. That is a huge pickup for Borg, but I think Wallaby recognizes that. I think I will have the most impact with size here. He just goes for it, but it does mean that a lot of good picks here for Bust.
Yeah, they do get some pretty good awakenings, and it kind of feels like, once again, we find ourselves possibly in a all-in situation where Wallaby and the team has gone mega on the size. Might of the Colossus going basically Supremo mode when X Maximus is popped, and it's really going to be Wallaby getting in there and doing those bell ringers to just kind of try to one-shot people. I mean, here he goes. Lots of damage already being spent. I mean, really, if you could somehow kill Borg in every X Maximus, or at least threaten him to just knock him out of the game for like 10 seconds while he tries to regenerate, maybe that's exactly what they need. As one barrier goes down, both of these teams. Borg looking a little bit weak here, though. Yeah, kind of out of the game. Can't really help in the defense. It's going to kind of threatened even when trying to attempt an offense here. Dran even going to keep him from regenerating, too. As we see General Twee and Gangsta just trying to push this one in here, though. The black hole doesn't do any favors for them. Wallaby Gangsta almost has a strike advantage there, but the blobs were not really placed exactly where they want, though. Barrier down here. Dran going to try to defend one more time. Merchant does have flip. Borg is looking at no health right now, and Wallaby Gangsta is working on trying to get this kill.
There's the kill, there's the flip, the barrier still standing, and the firewall sentry, a bit of a nuisance here as Mystic sets up. Bellringer jump from General Twee. So much control here from this Juno, and with that sheer amount of size, it is definitely looking scary if the Luna's ever stuck in a 1v1. Wallaby has all the control in the world. Mystic interrupts, good cyber swipe hit stun there as Borg now goes in. But it is still such a scary goal to score when Borg is low, when Mystic can't keep up with all this speed. The flip has to be burned. Borg now with the big opportunity. Good glitch pop. Merchant gets in there but doesn't get a strike redirect on it. And Borg is so incredibly low right now, and the crater sends it backwards. It is just so difficult to play against this massive X and this Juno in overtime.
Yeah, they really have it made for them in overtime, as the Juno Blob's really going to hit the red ball. Wallaby's really hard to a block, and Dran playing like a semi-melee goalie. It's just hard to get the barriers from him. Such a good team right now, just all around. Here comes the crater to secure that this barrier certainly goes down. Wallaby Gangsta on the front lines here. It can't seem to maintain control of the ball just yet. Big bull rush, but man, Merchant wins a crazy situation there to keep that barrier alive. Borg again looking a little bit low. Okay, a strike war here. Not really, actually. General Twee and opposite to go for maybe a clear angle there, but one barrier goes down for Bust now. So they're going to try to hand balls into the Blobos here. We're going to block the top side, Wallaby Gangsta, and they both have the top sides here blocked. Borg's going to come back here, though, for a third goalie situation to try to get that one out of here, though. Only Blade to teleport around the map. They're trying to keep the ball in. Yeah, the X Maximus. Too many strikes. The flip comes out here. The crater not going to land, as the flip is certainly going to be evaded as well. Borg, no health left to deal with, can't really play all that much, and now it's just really up to Merchant and Mystic.
It really is, and Mystic's regenning back, but Wallaby in general, Twee just winning the strike wars, making these interactions so scary, and Merchant barely getting back in time, Borg barely surviving. Dran's just not under that much pressure. I'm not going to lie, because Twee and Wallaby are just so massive in terms of control. Like, Twee, of course, is small in hitbox, Wallaby the opposite, but this Juno covers so many angles. Nightmare matchup for Luna here.
Yeah, we do see it again. We just saw it last game. Luna have a tough time with some of these blobs and a lot of these situations here, though, as possibly comboed from that rocket is ends up killing Dran there, which a pretty crazy situation. I guess they have already died. Didn't really notice the first time that they died because they apparently lost their recovery drone. But now they're back. Here we go. Spends the drum and bass to try to get a little bit of an advantage right here. Borg looking a little bit weak. Dran solos. Borg knocking them into their own goal here, though. On up to General Twee. They're going to try to get this last barrier here. Is tough strike boy here. Here comes Wallaby Gangster to try to win one. Yeah, just so big. Can't really clear around that one. The flip is going to be spent absolutely down. Going to get reinforced by the boost. There you go. It's a tough spot. It really is. Luna's coming in with a hitbox, and it's sometimes it's hard to tell if it's going to hit you or the ball, and they're both kind of rough. I don't even really know the best situation, like what you can do there that just helps you the most. I'm not. What do you think, Saya?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say Dran could have saved that, but like Merchant played that situation pretty well, and even if Dran had gotten the strikeout, had backed up a little bit more, it would have been a hard spot to win in. But we will see if they can continue this kind of pressure, because with both barriers opened up early. Oh no! Might have cursed it a little bit here, because those barriers being gone means that Merchant's down a dangerous spot. Mystic's being chased. Wallaby still has core control, and General Twee has the entire top side to his name. Wallaby can strike from anywhere on the map, it feels like, and this offense from ADR just doesn't stop.
Yeah, here comes Wallaby one more time, but knocked away from that rocket. Really great whammy there. Borg has this flip, is trying to get closer, but the damage is now being spent. Almost got a combo there. Dran gonna probably have to flip as Merchant is flying in with the boost once again. Tough situation. Wallaby Gangsta evading that combo one more time. Okay, big enough to strike that one and cover basically two options with that size. The black hole goes off now into the hands of Merchant, which ends up being a little bit of a strike war, but Dran has the passive to give an extra size for that strike. Merchant keeping this one alive as well. Dran running for their life to make sure that they can keep this one alive as well. Borg almost gets their hands on the ball, close enough to the goal. It's a really tight situation, but Crater actually knocks Wallaby Gangsta out of an offensive position. So does the rocket, but Borg ends up getting it right onto the top side, right through Twee and Dran. Really great shot there from Borg. Everyone kind of distracted there, but not Borg. Totally sharp.
Yeah, that's a NASL level shot right there. The patience to just wait for the core to drift at the perfect spot for Dran to back up a little bit to open up that top angle. Really just capitalizing on the impatience from the ADR goalie, and yeah, it is something that is just wonderful to see here, but it is still an uphill battle. Wallaby is still massive. General Twee has a flip. Dran is defending as usual, and that drum and bass is only going to make the team of ADR bigger. So uphill battle, but if they can get this one set, that would be a huge opportunity for NASL or bust.
Absolutely, a flip here from General Twee. So he gets stuffed a little bit there. Tries to hand the ball over to Wallaby Gangsta, who's huge, but ends up spending the strike to try to kill Mystic instead. Get reinforced there by the drum and bass. Mystic looking a little bit low now. Ends up clearing the ball to the top side, but Black Hole kind of hands the ball right on over to Twee. A lot of low players here from Bust, as Wallaby Gangsta's doing exactly what they're supposed to be. Getting on in there, swinging those bells, just doing a whole ton of damage. Wins the strike war. Mystic going to keep it away from Merchant as well. General Twee is going to try to reinforce Wallaby Gangsta here, though. Not going to lose their barrier to that bell ringer either way. Borg can't get their hands on the ball at all. Wallaby Gangsta and Twee show is all it is right now, but now Borg has a chance, but gets swallowed up by the ensnaring drums here. A flip from Dran, a redirect here from Gangsta, another one from the bell ringer, and that was tough. That was tricky. Gangsta had it all planned out, though, and gets a nice redirect right into the center. He secures themselves the next set here. ADR certainly is going to need one of these games to keep themselves alive, and it's going to be Twee grabbing the first awakening.
Yeah, I complimented Borg shot earlier, but Wallaby with one of his own, especially that core control at the very end, right? Just keeping the core in the hands, despite Merchant's best attempts to save it, and now with reverberation on General Twee. That is quite a bit of cooldown scaling here, but it is also looking scary if you're ADR. That is timeless extra special. I mean, that stash range unlocked for Borg. That is Glass Cannon on Merchant as well. So this NASL or Bust team is a little bit activated, but again, ADR, they are looking massive.
Yeah, that was a pretty good bunch of awakenings there. I really like the awakening also from ADR, really playing into their kill control here as we see Adrenaline Rush onto Wallaby Gangsta. There's never been more of an incentive to try to spend your cooldowns to get these kills here and deal damage to Borg all over the place, and that's what they're going to be doing. I mean, we can see Wallaby Gangsta completely ignoring the ball, finding Borg, now back to doing a little bit of ball control. Gets right past Dran. The German base is not going to work out there. Here comes the Crater. Here comes the Sentry. Everyone's coming in. Merchant with the boost to reinforce that that barrier absolutely is going down. Mystic can't get their hands on the ball as the Make It Rain shows up here, but they're going to keep the ball away from that. No problem. Gangsta can't seem to get their hands on it. Borg almost had a situation where they can make it work, but now it's a boost. I mean, you can see all the movement cooldowns from Bust. I mean, it puts a lot of pressure onto Dran, but they are surviving pretty heavily as we do see General Tweet playing a lot of second goalie stuff, and it's really necessary in the situations where we have boost flying in and Cyber Swipe, and here you go, the Sentry. I mean, it's rough, but Borg out of the play for just a moment, and they're going to regenerate. See if Tweet can get a goal here with this flip. Oh, yeah!
The extension there, the blinking forward with the passive strike into the rush there. Borg finds a goal, catches Tweet and Dran off guard at the perfect moment. They both had flips up, but just the perfect moment to do so from Borg. And now with the Crater coming through, that's 2 flips burned. Sorry, 1 flip and 1 evade, but that is a massive swing in energy. And that hero play from Borg kind of saved the entire economy for Bust here.
I agree. I mean, that was definitely a unseen goal there, as wow, both of the barriers are going to stay up here for the side of ADR as they nicely get the ball out there. Bust cannot seem to maintain control on the front side. Here comes the Crater, not going to do all that much, but knock the ball around. General Twee. Sorry, not General Twee, Wallaby Gangsta dealing a lot of damage to Borg and Mystic again. Now on up there, see if Merchant can stay in to get it. Yeah, wow, nice Merchant. Actually ends up hitting the ball, get a little strike reset there as well to grab that barrier. Mystic trying to get out of here. We can see them, they have full stacks now as they're pretty fast. Really going to run circles around this X, no problem, as the German base is going to come out one more time. Did a lot of damage to Wallaby Gangsta from the black hole. Going to spend some cooldowns to do damage to Mystic, but no one's really in threat of dying just yet. This Adrenaline Rush is not going to go off. This is kind of a even point right now. Oh, almost the perfect angle, but it's going to be kind of a slog here as Borg almost steals it again.
Yeah, it's looking kind of like Attack on Titan, where Wallaby's the Titan and Borg is the attack, and Borg is just like a little fly, right? Just buzzing around, not trying to get swatted. Successfully not going down still, and the barrier taken here, despite being staggered. Huge opportunity for Borg now as Merchant flies in. Flip available, but the core doesn't get to him in time, and now he's in a 1v1 with Wallaby, 1v2 with the Juno Slime, and the barrier goes down there as well, but Borg has a flip. The timing's there, and beats Dran as NASL or Bust are 1 point away from staying in the game.
Damn, tough situation. Nice on Borg to keep that patience there and roll with that ball as long as they could, as long as they felt like they could to get closer to that goal. And it's going to be really tough for ADR to clear that one. So good point on over for Bust. Here comes the Sentry one more time. I mean, it is an extra special game. Most of these ults are going to be spent right at the beginning as we see one of these barriers down. Borg holds the ball with that slice and dice and grabs the final barrier as well. Merchant getting back there with that eject button to keep both of their barriers alive too. Wallaby Gangsta is trying to maintain control of the ball here with General Tweak, trying to get a double, but not favorable bounce here for ADR, but it's going to be a kill. Here comes Adrenaline Rush from Wallaby Gangsta. Never been more powerful than this moment here, although I think Sentry's up again to pretty much negate all of this pressure. A flip from Mystic is going to certainly keep the ball out of there, and now the power play is over. And, I mean, really, one of the benefits of just having all of this extra special is right there. I mean, they had a power play, but, I mean, Sentry just negated all of that.
Yeah, it really shores up the defensive weaknesses of the Luna goalie very, very well. If Mystic can drop back, drop the Firewall Sentry with a Timeless Crater like you mentioned. Dangerous spot here though, Wallaby X Maximus. Pretty much impossible to strike war against here. The flip though, looking quite small, relatively speaking. And whoa, Borg again! Boosts his way forward. Just catches the core on one opening from Dran from across the map and punishes immediately. That's the power of a Centauro. And I'm not talking your average solo queue Centauro. This is Borg we're talking about.
Yeah, Borg is actually just the sniper. He's actually just the sniper here, and he's just like, boom, there's my shot. And double a dashing strike into rush, and boom, he's got it. 1-2 punch showing up here for Borg, and make them a little bit more powerful. Steal that from Juno as well, but I mean, Fight or Flight is like dummy strong, super powerful, especially with maybe Juno. I'm not entirely sure if you get it from, you know, blobs and stuff, but if you do, kind of crazy. If you don't, still quite strong here though. And one thing to note, we actually have Super Surge showing up for Wallaby Gangsta, which normally kind of makes up for some of X's like immobility and a lot of shock factor when it comes to a lot of these bull rushes. So we'll see if that changes basically anything. Merchant also kind of getting stingers, so I mean, they're playing to their kill outs.
Yeah, General Twee famously loves speed, and that's a lot of it. Slick kicks among Titans and Fight or Flight means that this guy has double slick kicks basically and passive speed. It is a little ridiculous here as Wallaby goes in. But again, right, these power plays are being defended quite well by Bust here. They just put down the turret, or don't even put down the turret sometimes, and get some good glitch pops, get some good rockets, and get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking just like straight up like character abilities, I mean, Bust certainly has the big ones, right? When it comes to just controlling the ball in a lot of situations that will just like stop movement, right? Got the Oni's Blade can also just stop the ball and make the, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that they have for the team. But maybe more consistently, ADR might be able to, you know, keep the pressure on as they do right there. General Twee keeps the ball in to just finally get that last barrier. Mystic gonna try from the bottom side here, though, with a combination of this Oni's Blade, but we do get a flip there from Dran to keep that ball alive. The Super Surge from Wallaby Gangsta is gonna be really threatening. Here comes the 2v2 on the front side, but they can't seem to win that one. Borg almost gets a strike war, but actually does end up winning that one against Dran and can't seem to hold the line with the drum and bass. Bust keeping themselves in this game, now an advantage in this set.
And Borg just has Dran's number. I think that's the main thing here in these most recent points. Borg has been winning those 1v1 interactions, punishing Dran for a lot of slight mistakes that usually wouldn't be punished, but this is the later stages of Liftoff. But Wallaby with the KO, but both barriers go down, and Wallaby goes down, and Merchant's in there, and Bust are looking to be back in it. They want to win this series now.
They do, and they just about had everything that they needed. But either way, ended up in a 2v2 as they found a kill onto Wallaby, who had Adrenaline Rush. It was about to be really tough, as they're going to lose this first little barrier there to the Juno. Mystic going to fight onto the front lines with this flip, see if they can maybe get a double, but Borg gets on in there with the rush. I mean, the distance from aerials is making a crazy difference, but once again, Wallaby Gangsta, Bell Ringer gets Mystic on out of here. Lots of control. I mean, look how fast Wallaby Gangsta is. I mean, it's disgusting how fast he is when he's punching people in the face with this X Maximus, doing an insane amount of damage and a lot of work in that point. I mean, okay, clean that one up. Next point, no problem.
Yeah, well played by Wallaby, but it is still set point here for NASL or Bust, and they burn all of their specials onto the bottom corner to find that barrier. And honestly, might as well, right? Extra special. It is extra after all. Wallaby trying to win these strike wars for the moment. Does win one, forcing out the flip from Merchant, but the barrier still stands, which is super important if you're a Luna goalie. Lets you fly a lot more, lets you win strike wars against Dran a lot more, and they're one shot away from a 5th set here.
Yeah, that was close. Borg almost had his chance there. Now completely staggered. Gets the Oni Blade to get a little bit of evasion. Gonna regenerate just up to half there. Now into the hands of Mystic, who has this flip, but it doesn't look like they have Cyber Strike, but it doesn't matter. Borg on the front lines just gets there. Really just gets there with that distance. Look at all his bars. He's got bars. He's got colors for days. He's completely covered in colors. He's got moves. He's got style.
He didn't need any of it. He had 2 entire bars and didn't need any.
He had so much in the bag. But now Mystic gets to grab something for themselves. I mean, is there a lot to consider? I mean,
Stagger Swagger is huge. That means Wallaby can't really run at Mystic anymore. But that's also Deadeye on General Twee, a big damage threat now. But specialized training denied from X. Well, not really denied because Big Fish is there and that guy's going to get even more massive, which is a big threat. But spec training extra special on the Luna does mean that if you ever forget to evade, if you ever are caught without meter, that could be a knockback KO coming in from the Luna here. Huge draft for both teams, but Wallaby is looking so massive that
so
low-key, what if he just like walks at them and wins every strike war?
He's doing that.
What if
he's
he just walks at them and wins every strike war again for the goal?
he might do that, especially with that drum and bass, giving even more size. Here comes all the specials here from Bust. You don't end up getting that barrier, but one more chance here with the boost, but it doesn't seem to work out here, though they finally end up clearing that ball, keeping one and doing a lot of damage to Borg. Super Surge, Bull Rush, going to whiff on that one. Ends up staggering Borg. General Tweed keeping him out of the play here, though, and Wallaby Gangsta's making sure that he ain't going to get his hands on that ball at all. Mystic also looking a bit low, but Dran helps to get that kill as well. Here comes the drum and bass. Tough spot in the strike war. I mean, Wallaby Gangsta's just so damn big if they can just get the ball onto him. But now Merchant is looking extremely low, and he just punches the ball in. He just punches the ball in, guys.
That was an incredible snipe from Dran, making sure Merchant was on 1 HP. Could have tanked one punch before that snipe, but Dran gets the cross map hit and makes sure the damage pressure is just enough so that the goalie is helpless there. Huge offensive play, but they're gonna have to keep that up here because Wallaby, can he win every strike war again?
He might. He simply might. I mean, the last draft was like an insane power spike, I think, for basically everyone. I mean, Merchant, extra specialized training. I mean, that's exactly what you wanted for Luna. Even Deadeye for Twee is also pretty strong, but I mean, the power spike has gone a little bit crazy here. One barrier down for each team. Borg smashed in the face from Bellringer. Going to try to retreat, but can't. General Twee's Deadeye is going to slay him. No stagger on that dude. Now, a big power play here. A double power play. Gangsta pops the center. Ends up slaying. Merchant has just no health left. The Adrenaline Rush is going to cause X Maximus to come up again in just a couple of seconds here. General Twee trying to keep in the ball into Wallaby Gangsta's hand, but man, Bust is surviving with just nothing. Merchant does have a flip, but it's way too far. Nice redirect from those slimes. I mean, on board, General Twee is right there to keep themselves alive, and they're 1 point away from making this a 1-1 series.
It's difficult to avoid the damage when the damage is Juno Slimes and the damage is also next to size of half the map. And this game is looking a little bit over here as Wallaby punches it. Good save by Merchant for the moment and General Twee in the corner, but one last slime will close it out. ADR will take this critical series to another game.
Man, that was nasty. I mean, Wallaby just has this. He's so big. He just actually can't strike past this guy. He like easily covers two options without even trying at that size. Even with the drum and bass, more size, more speed. I mean, it's kind of unclearable. And I mean, you saw it right there. Little Luna can't do nothing against the size of X there. Wallaby Gangsta playing that quite perfectly and doing an outrageous amounts of damage. 50k onto Wallaby, 9 kills. I mean, was really just swinging the nuts all over the place. MVP though for General Twee, getting all those redirects, getting infinite experience, and keeping the ball into Wallaby Gangsta's pocket as exactly they should be. And man, right when this game started, I was like, Bust just feels like their start is better. But ADR does have X. They scaled, and I mean, there you go.
Yeah, and importantly, right, ADR got the set win early that they needed, and that just buys you so much time. That just lets you get to the spot where Wallaby was at, and that game ended up happening. But final map of the series, we're on Clarion Test Chamber.
Ooh.
So we'll see how that one goes.
I do enjoy myself some Clarion.
It'll definitely be interesting because I took a peek at the start, and the start is also equally concerning.
Okay, well, let's just hope it's not specialized training as a start, because that would be... Oh man, there's so many toxic awakenings, right? Like specialized training and like... Oh
and
man,
like heavy impact,
even just Adrenaline Rush.
Yeah, like, imagine heavy impact was a start, right?
Deadeye, just so annoying to deal with. Some of these things you just can't avoid getting blasted. But either way, how concerned should we be?
Well, we'll take a look.
Oh, there it is. Heavy impact and the greatest spark of all time, possibly actually the second best spark of all time. Not really sure. There's a lot of good sparks out there, but nerfed into the ground here is our beautiful spark of agility. I mean, it was kind of busted. Who knows? We're going to get here on Clarion. One of my favorite maps to commentate on. I mean, Clarion and Gates, I think, are my favorite maps because there's a lot of nuance to come out here, though. You got to know how to play both of these. Are you good, bro? Is he good? He's freaking out. I'm watching. He's freaking out. They're not done picking out their drafts. I want to see these bans, bro. Are they going to ban the Vice again? Is it just be infinite Vice ban? I mean, Heavy Impact is kind of yikes for Vice.
There's no way they let Merchant Vice through on the Heavy Impact start. That's clear. And there is the ban from ADR. Huge priority pickup. The Luna also less of a threat. Didn't win, but still, that extra special start with Luna, exactly what you like to see. This start, in comparison, not what you'd like to see as Luna. Heavy impact, quite bad on the character. It does something, and yeah, something. So we'll see what happens here.
You get 3 seconds of cooldown on your ult. I don't even, the ult is not actually an impact.
No,
though,
it is an
right?
impact. It is an impact.
Oh, it isn't. Okay,
But
word.
that's it.
So it's a projectile and an impact. How many projectile and impact moves are there? Giga Blast.
Yeah.
Glitch Pop. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
We're getting the chat. The chat's working out. Thank you, Dubsta. Handing it on over there, Crater. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about Crater.
Yeah, but the Mako worked well for them. I do like them picking it again, threatening the X pick as well. Especially if Bust repeat and go Aimi Zentaro here. Both great characters with the heavy impact. They could respond with the X. Oh, Rasmus, a bit of a departure from what was previously picked.
Okay, I mean, hey, we did see Wallaby Gangsta snag a bunch of kills. They didn't end up winning that game, but they did snag a ton of kills with, it was actually Deadeye, but then they had a heavy impact afterwards, so either way, it's going to be lots of side lanes. You know, Juliet, as a character, sometimes you think about on side lanes getting some kills, but Rasmus isn't really the character you think who's going to get all those kills, but he actually might. Also, Rasmus goalies decent on this map, I'd say, as well. We do see Amy also showing up here for Bust. Mystic once again, most likely grabbing their Amy. That's 3 games in a row here from Mystic. Warm as you could be. We'll see what happens here with work on this Rasmus, possibly. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes here. Era finally picked up. That's a specialty pick. That kind of signals the next to me, right?
Oh.
Surely
I mean,
this is after the performance last game and deciding to back it up. There's the X Era. I do understand the Juno pick from previous game. It helped so much in overtime where Era would have been pretty much helpless.
Yeah.
But Clarion tends to be a lot more closed in a lot of its variants, so the Era looking quite decent. Not gonna lie. That character feels pretty unpickable most times, but in this situation, I'm kind of liking it. It's entirely locked in as well, which signals that Rasmus is going into the goal box for Merchant. Interesting game coming up here. And this is an important one too, right? Because NASL or bust is NASL or bust.
That's this.
If they lose, they're busting.
That's it. That's this game, bro. NASL or bust is everything on the line, respectively. Of course, NASL or bust is definitely, a goal of yours to have. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry. If they win, they're busting. If they lose, they're busted. There we go.
Oh yeah, okay.
important difference.
I was gonna say last game the Era would scare me with some of those starts, but yeah, now could be a little interesting, right? Because even Era's primary is an impact. So get a little cooldown on that too if you hit 2 things. So she does get a little bit of benefit here, especially with X is like gonna be bull rushing at people onto these side lanes. So we'll see what happens. Some of the best counterplay that you can do to X Aramako is to try and kill X, right? He can't really go anywhere. He can't really do anything. So Amy and Zentaro might be trying as hard as they can once again to just do as much damage to this X as possible and just get them out of the game. And we'll see if they're successful, because it'll be pretty damn obvious if they're not, because X is going to be stepping on your face and stealing all those barriers and getting the goal and moving over to the NASL there. So we'll see what happens as we loading on into this game. Merchant grabbing onto the powerhouse Bulgers. Borg going for broke, taking a siphoning wand, ready to destroy this X. That's what I'm saying, bro. Gonna be trying to kill this X as much as they can, and Wallaby trying to do the best counter that they can. Vamp Raise again to keep themselves alive, and we'll see if it works out. I mean, that's gonna be the big thing to watch out for this game. Although Borg gets smashed immediately, and yeah, Zentaro's low health pool is kind of on the other side here. Can Borg survive too?
Good evade there, but Borg is still very, very low. And this early game is going to be a little awkward, right? Relatively low power early game. Nothing too crazy in the Awakening start either. Of course, heavy impact. Going a little crazy right now. And Borg almost dead, but these orbs are going to keep it up just enough. Set 2 is where everything will begin. But set 1 is so much more stressful for Bust here. If Bust let Mako Era X win set 1, that is a nightmare you're walking into.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, crap. Even if Wallaby gets like second in the pick here, just gets enough experience, that's also just kind of rough. We'll see what happens. Wallaby really hasn't gotten any barriers or anything yet, but they do get Bust a point there, as they're gonna use their determination to grab that goal. I mean, they're doing it perfect right now, though. Wallaby really hasn't played all that much. It's the only level 1 on the board. I mean, that is exactly what you want to do. Get that ball away from X no matter what.
Playing a little game of keep away at the moment, but Wallaby pushing forward, almost taking a barrier there, almost not good enough for the moment. Wallaby, though, will cash out with the flip. Open net at their back. Huge opportunity. Dran owned barrier, but honestly, that's fine because one still stands. But Twee and Wallaby are taking a lot of chip here, and this map is where it sticks.
Yeah, I would say that in this first set, I'd imagine that Zentaro might have the greatest advantage, right? Just like everyone's kind of weak, but Zentaro's still just walking around with heavy impact, and Wand, I mean, kind of just gets to do what they're trying to do sort of from the start, although you do have a really low stagger bar. And there you go, flying on off the map there. We do have a power play here for Bust. The Gangsta gonna try to defend here with Dran. Can't seem to make it work though. Merchant defends easily, trying to do some more damage to Wallaby as well, but not too many cooldowns left to try to grab this barrier. Dran defends quite easily though. Wallaby can't seem to commit there as they're completely staggered. Knocked right on into the goo, then knocked right on out of the goo. See if they can get this last barrier here, because they have 2 flips here for the side of Bust. I mean, they're looking really good in the energy department.
Yeah, looking pretty solid as Wallaby sends to the top side. Regens quite a bit here. Flip away from Mystic, but it keeps going into the hands of ADR as Wallaby. A quick KO onto Mystic. A quick shot to the top corner. Merchant gets the save with the death touch, but it's still such a dangerous spot to be in. Good clear, stalls out quite a bit on the respawn, and Mystic's back.
Mystic is indeed back. Power play is over. Borg looking a little bit weak here, though. That gets one of these orbs to get smashed again one more time. Low, but spends their time getting the barrier and ends up... Merchant cannot get there in time. Kind of a crazy point there. Wallaby sending it to the bottom side and ends up securing that one, getting the credit and the experience. I mean, we can see that Twee is a little bit ahead, though, right now for this one. If they can somehow perfectly get Wallaby into this first position, this would be exactly what they're looking for.
They got the perfect bounces, too, right? They kept possession using the bouncers on the sides. Got one barrier instantly converted into another, and Borg is taking so much damage here. Almost taken out. Sniped by Dran. Good follow-up on the flip. And now it's a huge opportunity to take a lead, to maybe even take the entire set here from the side of ADR. They just got to get these passing plays through, but General Twee trying to force it too hard right through Mystic, and the respawn will come in.
Yeah, not a ton of teamwork there. Thought they maybe could get it through, but it's going to be a tough spot here, though. Wallaby might have had a chance there, but staggered. Makes things a little bit awkward. Okay, the goal is actually going to go down there. The barrier, rather, is actually going to go down. The bouncy house is going to make things a little bit awkward here with none of these barriers left. Merchant going to give the ball right on over Mystic, who is really just 1 or 2 strikes away from getting that flip. There it is. Borg soloing. Gets that rush to the top lane and does just strike it on in there, giving Bust another point, which, again, reiterating, the opposing team is ex-Aramako, so you need help. You must win this set.
Yeah, and Mystic now, flip available, not trying to risk any KOs here. Burns it early, doesn't get caught, and Borg as well, regenning backwards. Merchant forced to burn the hook here. A bit of an own barrier as Wallaby goes in, capitalizing instantly, and that's an open net already.
Yeah, open net already. Dran got their eyes set onto Borg across the map, ends up knocking them into stagger radius there. Borg a little bit weak, does just get the distance on it. Wallaby securing that kill. Okay, a little bit of a power play here for ADR. Can they land it? Stalls here with the flip. Mystic on the front lines to help it on through. Okay, jumps out of the goal with that cyber swipe, but Merchant does end up defending. Borg is now back to keep this ball forward as much as they can. The Atlas in the center is kind of just doing wonders here for the side of Bust to keep this offense going. General Twee, really great patience there to win that strike war. Dran's gonna try to keep the ball forward, but Wallaby Gangsta gets in there with the X Maximus. I mean, the real classic. I mean, that is simply Strike, Maximus, Classic. Rasmus doesn't have a ton to really deal with that in the really close quarters if they don't have Whiplash, so good work there from Wallaby Gangsta. I mean, this first set has just really been close quarters. It's been tough.
It really has been, and Wallaby, bigger than the last game, a bit temporary,
Somehow.
but still scaled up, ready to X Maximus all over them. Doesn't get both barriers, but pushes forward onto the second, and General Twee is positioning so scarily, right? It has the follow-up there at all times. The corner offense activated. the NATO as well, doing a lot of chip to Merchant, but that's not going to be a KO anytime soon. Barrier, though, taken. Flip available, burned by Wallaby, but still in a very good spot to score the entire thing. And Wallaby, what a great final strike to close it out. And it is a nightmare for NASL or bust now.
Okay, almost the true nightmare. X is not first, so that's sort of something.
There's a lot of awakenings here.
There's a lot. There's 8 of them.
They're spec training big fish. I think Wallaby's gonna be happy with either, and I think he's probably gonna get spec training here. Yeah. Mind red.
Good chance he takes spec training. There you go. Does grab it. Gonna try to do even more damage than before. And it's, I mean, 40%. That's kind of a lot. So he's going to be on the lookout here for a lot of kills on these side lanes. I mean, Adrenaline Rush here, possible deny for Mako. I mean, it doesn't do nothing, but, you know, 1 second cooldown is all right. But denies Borg, who is really just a kill machine. I mean, I can't reiterate this enough. Taking Siphoning Wand to really just try to ensure that the players cannot play. And Wallaby Gangsta already knocked down to just about nothing. Gonna have a tough time regenning. Tries to get a combo here, Mystic, but short on the glitch pop, unfortunately, is not going to land that one. No barriers down just yet here on the bouncy house, but Wallaby Gangsters just get knocked all around, can barely play, doesn't really want to go towards one of these bouncers here. It could be kind of curtains, as we're going to see if we get a combo here from Borg, but no passive to go with it. But Merchant, hey, the goalie getting a kill there. I mean, that's some of the most value you can actually get, as this power play is going to show up here for Bust. See if they can get on in here with the Oni's Blade, but a nice defense there from ADR. Only 1 barrier down, but here comes the Sentry, going to make it so difficult, so much pressure for Dran. Borg center stage with the help of the perfect Cyber Swipe. I mean, Mystic, really great work helping on it. He even actually gets credit there for that goal. That's how good the timing was.
Yeah, and those are the types of points that NASL or bust needs, right? That spec training X can't hurt you if he can't play the game. But if he can play the game, look at Borg. Mystic, though, speed running the barriers on the other side. And those solo plays are also so much value for Bust. They are fighting a very, very clear mission here, right? Like, it is obvious what they need to do, but it is not easy in the slightest.
No, not at all. I mean, the Siphoning Wand certainly helps to keep Wallaby down to nothing, as once again, they can't really play, which is sort of the win condition here for Bust. They're going to try to get a little bit of teamwork here, knocks him into the goo, going to evade on out of there. Spends a little bit of energy for that. Death Touch comes out, but doesn't seem to land on anyone just yet. Wallaby Gangsta sent down to just about nothing again. Also, Twee completely staggered. Now it's just Red Team Stadium here, although Borg looking a little bit low, but finally gets that kill on to General Twee, and also finds it on to Wallaby. I mean, the big double power play here. Some pass plays, nice interruption from Duran to see if they can stall just long enough. Maybe 1 more second. Oh, so close. Good try there from Duran, but I mean, a 3v1 is quite difficult there. Bust is just about on the board here for this next set.
Yeah, that flipping goal was a little awkward, right? It went right back into the hands of the forward, so definitely needed something a little bit trickier there, but really tough situation, 1v3, trying to stall at a respawn, so can't really blame the goalie in that situation. Mystic and Borg, though. Mystic in particular has become so much more active this set, and it's showing, too. Mystic is getting a lot of value, but Wallaby has just taken out the goalie.
That was an insane amount of knockback, literally just from X Maximus. I mean, I watched the Rasmus gets punched in the face into that goal, and Twee, with the speed of the drum and bass, gets there right when they need to and puts it onto the top side. Good combination there. Good help from Duran, too. And I mean, that's exactly what we're looking for here from ADR, as they're going to try to keep themselves alive in this next set, though. Here comes the Sentry from Mystic, but it's going to get completely negated from that Maelstrom from Era. I mean, it's really great to have that on the side lanes. Okay, Mystic, Cyber Swipes on in there, gets the Maelstrom Orb. Okay, General Twee doesn't give a crap about that, though. Flipping on, getting those barriers. Mystic can't get any value out of the Maelstrom Orb at all. Losing a barrier for the side of ADR, though. Merch is going to try to get the ball to Borg one more time, although being chased into space. Yeah, doesn't want to spend the flip to evade, and Wallaby gets everything that they need, although Mystic wins that situation, dies in return, and the Strike War from this double power play is going to be just too much pressure for Merchant to deal with. And now, 1 more point away from this set, and the nightmare might continue.
This is really, really important that they make sure Wallaby can't play here. He doesn't have evade. This is your one chance to make sure this X is gone. Getting the healing? No, not getting the healing. Knocked back perfectly. Wallaby, though, still surviving here. And they need to finish this KO or keep Wallaby out of the play. But I feel like Wallaby still has a chance to live here. Knocks back Borg, rushes into the center. Borg could be comboed here. Good knockback by Mystic, and they're staying alive, but Wallaby is too, almost building up an entire evade.
Yeah, okay, they're doing a lot of damage. Finally gets the combo with the Death's Touch Pendulum Swing. Merchant also builds up a flip with that as well. Dran has one too. See if they can defend until Wallaby Gangsta comes on back. A lot of the pressure being put on here, but no Cyber Swipe from Mystic to really stack it on. Here comes the Oni Blade, but still not much more. This barrier is going to hold the line. And Mystic, afraid of dying there from Wallaby Gangsta, which is completely fair, spends that flip to evade it all. Now Borg is going to try to get in there with a flip of their own. I mean, it's just the energy game here, as all of the players are really just trying to get as close as they can to this barrier, but the opposing team is doing a really good job. Wallaby Gangsta gets a combo here. Bull Rush X Maximus is going to send Mystic on off of the map. I mean, this is kind of big here, though. Big power play from ADR. Can they get past Merchant, who's doing such a good job of defending? Borg going to go ahead and eat an orb, and now Mystic is back. Not much more. It's just the overtime is going to be piling on this core speed.
Yeah, it's looking very dangerous here. Liftoff is ticking down, and if Wallaby can get a good offense, that could be ADR in the driver's seat. Borg can't quite get the barrier. Such a dangerous spot to be in for Wallaby, though, who is one hit away from death at the moment. Evades the hook, gets away from the situation, but Dran positions a little too far up. A great shot by Bust to get the final barrier here. And what a flick to the top side. It's not quite enough. Dran with the rebound off the top corner. Gets it away from Borg just in time. Tweez the one with the flip now. But this Firewall Sentry has so much value here. Dangerous bounces, but Tweez there to help out. But Tweez dead. The bottom side of the net wide open. And NASL or Bust, they're back in it.
They're extremely back in it. Extreme value on winning that set and just snatching that away from the X, who ends up being fourth pick in here. Really just a little bit of a few from Bust, as they're going to allow Mystic to grab whatever they want from this board. Lots of good stuff here. A classic Timeless here for Amy could be what they're looking for. They do indeed take that one. Among Titans, yeah, just play into your outs, bro. Make this X literally as large as possible, but there's no size on the board.
Wait a second.
What's up? Tell me.
So, like, this is still good for Bust, right? But I feel like ADR is very happy. Because they just got Dash Awakening on Mako, they got 1-2 Punch on the Spectrating X, and they got Among Titans on the Era, who is dead. But, like, NASL or Bust can kill them, yes, but ADR can kill them right back if they have the good opportunity. But, okay, well, they do have a lot of damage, let's be clear.
This is insane amounts of damage here from Bust, as the entire team kind of dies almost at the same time. Wallaby Gangsta just finally regenerates. He gets a lot of that health back from the Vicious Fan Brace, but a really good Maelstrom there from General Twee is going to sink that final barrier. Mystic fighting their way out of here, though. Borg just about no health, tries to get a flick, but Dran, big enough and ready enough with that German base, is going to keep that point alive too. The Firewall Sentry is going to try to make something happen here. Bounces off the thing. Here we go. Borg doesn't have passive to reinforce it, but it does have Slice and Dice to stun and get that ball in there, though. That was explosive from Bust. They did an outrageous amount of damage right at the start, and they were able to clean that one up. And I'm curious to see how many times we will see that kind of opening. I mean, Stinger for Zentaro is going to stop the regeneration almost completely at this point. And we'll see how much combo we can get there with that wand.
Yeah, Wallaby is looking so dangerously low. Heals up a little bit, but and needs to just get somewhere. Needs to get in the action somehow. He does a ton of damage, but he is taking even more in return. And Merchant with a Deadeye, of course, will also be a huge damage threat. Possibly the biggest damage threat, depending on the situation. Borg will clean up the kill. And in NASL or Bust, they're looking to slowly, methodically take this set, take another set, and win this game. But we'll see if ADR can survive. It's scary.
It is scary. I mean, we were just talking about how ADR got some really great awakenings there, and they certainly did, but something about the coordination here from Bust has really just unleashed the damage. I mean, possibly this Stinger is what's getting everyone to just deal a ton of damage and just focus a little bit more, because Merchant also getting that Deadeye is going to be able to finish off kills quite easily from across the board. No barriers down just yet, though. Merchant maybe moving up here with this flip, going to try to make sure they don't die to this Bull Rush in the corner. That seems to be the classic situation that keeps happening. Oni Blade to just deal more and more damage to Wallaby, and Mystic finishes off with a Cyber Swipe. I mean, this is it. This is how you beat X-Era Mako. not guaranteed every time, but you really just want to kill X as much as you can. He can't go all anywhere, right? And if Wallaby Gangsta had a Dash Awakening, maybe that would be a little bit more, he'd have a little bit more mobility to get away, but doesn't, and they're taking advantage of that perfectly. Still no barriers down, though, although that power play, and now a new one created here from Wallaby Gangsta. We'll see if they can grab some barriers as ADR is going to work on this power play.
But the issue is then you have to get past Merchant, and Merchant is chilling. That guy is basically only has to press his buttons to get some KOs. Like, that guy is under 0 threat because Xera has no range as a comp, and the fact that they're forced to survive means they just can't really get anything done at all. And that's Merchant taking 2 barriers, one of the opponents and one of his own. It is looking like such a comfortable state for NASL or Bust to be in. The last set was really the big decider, but ADR, maybe they'll find something here.
They do find a big strike war there from Wallaby Gangsta, who doesn't have a whole ton of size, only a little bit from the... Oh, wow, crazy X Maximus there. Nice reaction from Wallaby and good angle to get it right on through. Mystic and Merchant possibly stack the strike there, but either way, Wallaby gets a nice angle, really gets it in there with 1-2 punch. Also, just speeding up that ball. I mean, in overtime, this X is really going to be striking the crap out of that ball as everyone's going in on the Maelstrom. We do see it onto Era, though. It's not going to get an outrageous amount of value from it, but certainly going to steal it from the opponents. So we do have Wallaby Gangsta once again the main kill target, but Twee in the perfect position, still both barriers, and we just talked about how that was the hardest part for this game is getting past Merchant, and they do right then and there. And we'll see if they can actually land this goal as Wallaby does end up regenerating, and this is kind of their chance to, you know, get another point here in this set.
Yeah. Just this low range comp does not want to touch that core at all because it definitely could mean getting KO'd. Wallaby takes advantage of Borg barely missing the smite, but can't dash through the terrain just barely. Borg taking a ton of damage, but not getting KO'd as Twee tries to solo score here. Has the NATO. A good elusive by Merchant. Such a scary situation to be in. This ADR team is surviving somehow.
Yeah, and Merchant trying to solo deal a ton of damage to Wallaby, although Wallaby trying to regenerate by just smacking people around, and actually does end up getting it with that bell ringer. Man, just staying in front of that goal is all you need, right? Twee's going to put that ball right into your pocket and allow you to get that goal, and you have a completely even game here onto Atlas Sanctuary, whatever the heck it's called. So they're going to try to focus one more time on killing maybe this X, maybe focusing on killing this Era, I'm not really sure, but a Bellringer can grab the first goal. Twee can maybe try to get that one in there, but no position just yet, as they're going to fight it out one more time here, though. Wallaby, once again, in threat of dying, and that's their whole comp, really, right now.
Yeah, and this is the variant that I think Twee and Wallaby want to play on, right? Especially as a decider point. It's a lot more claustrophobic, and once the core gets past the halfway line, it is very possible to keep it contained. The NATO has a lot of value, and it is looking like Wallaby is alive right now.
Yeah, Wallaby is indeed alive. Merchant going to keep that one also out of his goal with that Whiplash. Going to use the Death Touch, spend it, and get it over to Borg and Mystic. Wallaby Gangsta can't really play the game for just a moment, but second goalie here, General Twee, is going to keep that one alive. A nice evade here from Borg. They're kind of counter-damaging him, although not completely staggered just yet. It's going to keep playing until it's over, and a nice rush is going to grab that barrier. Again, the sniper really just waiting for their moment to strike. Ball tries to get on over, really nice from Twee, almost had it down into the Atlas circle. Gonna make things really awkward for Merchant, who's gonna continue to deal damage to Wallaby, has no more moves left, but wait, I think a Mystic was actually the one that knocked Gangsta out of the way. Did he just die to a Maelstrom?
He died to a Maelstrom, and that's the set! ADR, they won the set!
Oh my god. If Gangsta is the, okay, again, Twee, just the ball-hitting champion of the world, gets first place, and even we do even see Bust in taking over the experience here over Wallaby Gangsta and getting 2 in a row for that one. So it's not a complete catastrophe here for Bust, even though it's a rough spot here, though, as ADR is going to be able to take anything they want on this board, possibly more size for X, possibly more
Swagger?
Super Surge. I don't know, Saggers, but yeah, it's like a lot.
Oh, this is okay. Okay, so the thing is, Stagger Swagger doesn't do that. No, it does do that much. It does do that. I feel like Wallaby should have just taken the Stagger Swagger. I feel like that might have been enough because I don't know anymore.
I don't know.
Could go next.
I've seen Super Surge go like so crazy with the Bull Rush, especially on Clarion. Like, this might be one of the best maps here for that Bull Rush too, because there's just so many side lanes. Every map is a threat.
You know,
He is dying. Is
he-
it going to keep you alive against Stinger? It won't, right? Because, like,
no,
it's just
you know what the
Stinger
issue
stops
is?
you.
Well,
Tell me.
I don't know anymore. Well, let's play.
He doesn't know.
Let's play by play it out.
I'm playing by playing Wallaby Gangsta quite weak right now as the Maelstrom's going to come on through. Just a millimeter away from getting that one. Borg sniped again. Just, bro, actually the sniper here, bro, and doing a ton of damage to Dran. Actually ends up getting the kill. Borg does not even care about these people. With this wand, with this stinger, no one can regenerate. They do a little bit of damage with the help of Mystic and Merchant. General Tweed gonna try to get it on through. Can't seem to maintain enough speed. Goalie X, Zoli showing up for just a moment. Dran finds their way back, but the 1-2 punch in overtime is gonna keep the ball really far away.
Ooh.
Here comes the Super Surge. Blasts Borg into the blast zone, onto the goo.
Ooh.
Mystic also be sent off. It was a double power play into a counter. Double power play here though, but Merchant has the flip. Can he survive? Absolutely not. Against this 3v1 here, though, Merchant gonna certainly keep that flip that can be better used on this next point.
Okay, so
Ooh, ooh.
yeah, this is a game where
This is nasty.
the loser gets no more chances and the winner gets a chance at NASL, and
Yeah, big, incredible stakes here, right? NASL or bust or Jeej. I mean, it's just about over here, though, as we're ADR working on the last set, but actually Bust, man, they are doing so good at coordinating these kills. Mystic getting on in there, can't seem to make it work there. Dran defending nicely. General Tweet also playing that second goalie when they need to every time. I mean, Tweet kind of all over the map, getting the MVP just about every single time. You can see them getting the most experience, but a strike war win from Borg. All the cooldowns coming in, a flip from Mystic, blasts Dran into the goal, and there you go, Bust grabbing a point for the resources spent. Merchant still has one of the flips of his own. Borg working on his own as well, and so the energy is really still in the Bust's favor.
And the main issue is, right, the main issue is that Wallaby's only real way of blowing someone up is by dash punching them. And if they're aware of that, like Borg was just there, Wallaby can't really get anything done in the KO department. Okay, wait, maybe he can with the center orb.
That's
But
insane
Mystic,
damage.
again, good heads up evade to not let that happen. And so if Borg and Mystic don't let it happen, ADR really just can't get it done.
Yeah, if I think also Wallaby can somehow avoid getting like hit by Borg basically at all. I mean, he can regenerate completely, right? With this vicious fan breaks, he goes in there and just spins his face off, and that
But
that heals
imagine
him
if
for
he
like
had Stagger
thousands.
Swagger.
Okay, if he could have Stagger Strike, but Stinger does stop you from regenerating, so Stagger Strike still wouldn't activate until you're, you know, out and about. So it could be, you know, whatever. I don't mind, obviously, the Super Surge pick. I am a Super Surge expert.
No, wait, this Wallaby guy survived.
Literally surviving. With Borg on deck, he actually spends basically everything to try to get that. Wallaby fully regenerates now, as you can still hit the ball and regenerate with the Vicious Fan Brace, but still, man, after all of that, only one barrier down for each team. Wallaby staying in the middle, just trying to regenerate as much as possible. I think you can probably even heal off this center orb with that Van Brace, right?
Just a little bit, and now Wallaby's massive, and now Borg is on the chopping block here. Double KO!
Oh my
The
God.
biggest X of all time! Oh, not actually of all time, but that's a huge goal, and ADR are suddenly 1 point away.
Oh my, I didn't check how much power. I mean, it gives you 50 power, right? So 170 power, 1-2 punch, explosion there from X, and we have a minor disconnect here. Where are you, Borg?
Borg
return to us.
is not with us right now.
Borg actually died.
Did
Wallaby
Borg's,
Gangsta bell rang his computer.
Borg's computer started lagging after all the VFX in that one, but yeah, really good play by Wallaby. But again, right, like, he can't really do that unless Bust let him. Bust like fumbled the Arrow Orb, and Wallaby got all of the keys to the kingdom and blew them all up, and we'll see what happens here.
I mean, you know, it depends, right? Because, like, a bell ringer or two, and then maybe, like, a hit from Twee, and then, I mean, you just have regular X Maximus punching you with these Awakenings, and that's a lot of damage, too. Might not have the evade for that, but either way, the dash punch is Omega on board. One barrier down here for Buster. General Tweet maintains control of this board. Merchant, nice clear, though. Wallaby trying to cover that option. Dran also trying to keep that option. Here comes the drum and bass, though. Tries to speed up the ball, but, man, the ball's a little too fast right now as we waited a little bit there, and overtime has already taken over. Wallaby Gangster just got to hit a couple of people just to heal up. Here you go. Okay, gets actually stunned in the worst spot by the Oni Blade. Nice one, Borg. Making sure that kill is secured. And now we have big play here from Bust. Can they get any of these barriers? Only 3 seconds left of this power play. There you go, at least one. So that's certainly something. That's one.
One barrier to firewall sentry set up. Big opportunity. But Wallaby is just punching the ping pong favorable. If you're a 1-2 punch X and Wallaby's in there open net, all it takes is one small opening. And General Twee also has flip. NASL or Bust. Dangerous spot to be in for this team. And it might be curtains here. A final flip by General Twee. Despite all the damage, despite everything, ADR survive and they're landing.
That's it. They've lifted off, and now it's time to land on Mars or Jupiter, or wherever you'd like to go. Either way, maybe to the stars, in fact, as we did have once in our life. But ADR, yeah, really great showing there. Man, they ended up scaling. They just ended up making the X Aramako just
okay. Let's be clear. I don't think they scaled that much. Like, I think they just played better. I think they had an incredibly like relative. I compared to Bus in that last set, I think ADR had some really weak tools, but I think they capitalized on every single opportunity and they got it done.
Well, they did indeed get it done. They go landing, and Bust, unfortunately, is just going to bust on out of this season, it turns out, unless they want to, may change their mind and maybe get a bunch of subs or something like that. I don't know what they're going to do. But either way, ADR are the champions for this series. Really great work from them. I mean, well played. Well played to clean that one up. And I think that's going to be a little break from us, right, Saya? A little break?
There's one series left.
God.
There's one series left in this incredible triple elim. Technically, win 3 Swiss, don't lose 3 Swiss. And it's Pass versus Stab. We started the day watching Stab almost take down Fly, and now Stab has made it all the way here again. Another chance at landing, but Pass is in their way. We'll see what happens in this next match. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.